Israel's military says it has launched fresh strikes in Iran late on Saturday night, targeting what it said was a weapons depot and sites for unmanned aerial vehicles. This comes after an earlier attack in which the army said it had killed 3 senior Iranian military commanders. Israel's warplanes also struck an important nuclear facility south of the capital, Tehran. The Israeli military has repeatedly said it is targeting military installations, but Iranian officials say most of those killed and wounded are civilians.
Nasreen says she's undergone multiple stomach surgeries since arriving at this hospital following an Israeli airstrike near her apartment in the Iranian capital, Tehran.
I was hurled against the wall. I don't know for how long I was unconscious. When I woke up, I was covered in blood. I just tried to get myself to the door, and one of my neighbors, who was passing by, called the ambulance, and they brought me here.
Shahram Nur Mohammadi was on his motorbike making deliveries in Tehran when he says a bomb hit.
When I reached the intersection and was about to turn, something blew up right in front of me. My head was bleeding. I touched it and saw blood on my hand. Shocked and panicking, I started shouting. My motorbike had a flat tire from the blast, so I left it on the sidewalk. Then someone offered to take me to hospital.
The government organized this tightly controlled media tour of a Tehran hospital with one goal in mind: to show international media its civilians bearing the brunt of the conflict.
It's not just the military, targets. They are attacking people and those who are near in neighboring areas of that, or those who are at risk. And that's why we have that number of, civilians killed in these attacks.
He says more than 430 people have been killed and some 3,500 have been wounded since Israel launched its aerial campaign on June the 13th, targeting military and nuclear sites across Iran, as well as those working for them. The IDF says it killed senior Iranian military commanders in overnight strikes on Iran, including the man responsible for arming Hezbollah and Hamas.
We carried out another significant assassination tonight in western Iran. Behnam Shariari was the commander of the weapons transfer unit of the Quds Force of the Revolutionary Guards. The video of his assassination is now showing on the screen. Shariari was in charge of transferring weapons from the Iranian regime to Hezbollah and its other proxies in the Middle East.
Israel also attacked a nuclear site in Isfahan in central Iran that manufactures centrifuges used to enrich uranium. The UN has confirmed the strike, but says there's no danger of hazardous material leakage.
Joining me now is Behnam Taleblu. He's Senior Director of the Iran Program at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. He joins us from Washington, D.C. Behnam, thank you so much for being here. Now, Israel's foreign minister says their attacks have already delayed Iran's efforts to develop a nuclear bomb by several years. What more is Israel hoping to achieve?
Pleasure to be with you. If one is trying to connect the dots between the military, missile, and nuclear targets that the Israelis have struck, what you see is a picture of centrifuge manufacturing plants, research laboratories, enrichment facilities, storage facilities, conversion facilities essentially being destroyed, damaged, or being taken offline. The picture that all of this communicates is that even with the fissile material that the Islamic Republic has in storage today, it makes it harder for them to actually be able to take it out and weaponize, given that these facilities are no longer in existence. And in my view, it really seems to pave the pathway for potential U.S. Entry to target the large underground fuel enrichment plant at Fordo, which is reported to be under 300 feet of rock or concrete.
Well, speaking about Iranian supplies, we wanted to talk about the information we have from the Israeli intelligence, which is that they estimate that Iran has a stock of 2,000 ballistic missiles and that they've already fired 450 of those in the less than 10 days of the conflict so far. Now, Iran says it's ruling out nuclear talks until Israel stops attacking the country. So how long can Iran realistically hold out?
Well, the Islamic Republic it does have actually the largest ballistic missile arsenal in the Middle East, both pre and post the Israeli operation. Reportedly, that number is 3,000, roughly estimated back of the envelope calculation that 2,000 are medium range, meaning 2,000 can directly hit Israeli territory when fired from Iranian territory. But these estimates are from 2024, and therein one has to deduct the ballistic missile barrages from April and October, as well as the reported barrages in June in 2025. So the number actually does get dangerously close from a 4-digit number to a 3-digit number. And this is, in my view, only part of the rationale why you've seen changes in the size of the volley that the Islamic Republic is firing, going down from 100 just to a handful. So they are trying to conserve the capabilities that they have. But one other important variable affecting the regime's ability to continue to return fire, admittedly against counter-value targets, is the Israeli campaign against the launchers, the transporter erector launchers that basically make Iran's ballistic missiles road mobile and can be fired from anywhere in Iranian territory. You can have millions of ballistic missiles, but if you don't have a single launcher, you will be unable to respond militarily.
You've already mentioned the U.S. and what are the diplomatic options that currently exist? I mean, that could possibly drive Iran and Israel back towards talks rather than deeper confrontation.
Sure. Just to clarify, the two diplomatic parties were the U.S. and the Iranians, admittedly indirectly midwife by at least 5 or 6 rounds of nuclear negotiations facilitated by the Omanis. The U.S. was negotiating a nuclear deal, potentially, or offering a framework for a nuclear deal to the Islamic Republic of Iran. And therefore, I think the U.S. may be looking to use Israel's kinetic actions, its military actions against Iran's missile, military, and nuclear infrastructure to build leverage to get Iran to accept its more broader, bigger, maximal proposal of no enrichment, no reprocessing, and no full fuel cycle on Iranian territory. But also, obviously, because the U.S. has a much bigger hand here because of really the defanging of the Iranian long-range strike capability, the U.S. has leverage to ask for more. But Iran, in the short term, looks like it wants to hold out, rely on that increasing arsenal of missiles to raise the cost of really staying the course for Israel and for America, and to try to find a way to deter potential American involvement in the war. And to that end, the Iranians are not just talking, publicly, saying that they will not negotiate over their nuclear program so long as missiles are flying, but they're trying to get the Europeans and even the Russians involved. Just a day ago, there was an Iranian meeting in Geneva with the E3 plus the EU, and just today, the Iranian foreign minister is in Istanbul.
That's Behnam Taleblu. Thank you so much for your insights.